I like dissonance. I listened to Miles Davis for years, and I thought that one of the greatest things that he was doing that people either loved or hated, it was the dissonance. When he was vamping on an E chord, he played Fs, he played E flats, and he played a lot of Cs, you know, and held them. And people either said, that's a wrong note, or they said, wow, that's great. And I like that a lot. I like to hear, you know, I like to hear a D chord and hear an A flat bass. I like that. A lot of people don't. I think, you know, when you're applying bass to as a solo instrument, you really have to come up with something unique. Either you have dazzling chops to, you know, to just have audiences of any intellect going, oh, wow. Or you're going to play something that's going to make you think. And really, the amount of opportunities a bass player gets to be a soloist, he has to create. If you don't create it, essentially, you know, then for the most part, you're going to be in supportive roles. So the opportunity to develop, you know, soloistic techniques and things are not great. So you have to really want to do it to go for it. And if that's the kind of bass player you are, and that's what you're looking for, that's what you've got to achieve. You've really got to look for things that are going to be unique. We can all practice, you know, all kinds of scales and pentatonic scales and what have you. You know, we all know a lot of those kind of things, and you know, we can practice all those little things, and they can all be part of soloing in context of a song or, you know, a jazz kind of context. But really, if you really want to be noticed in the solo world, there's very few bass players who are great soloists and who have unique styles. And it's really a matter of just thinking of things that are just not ordinary. So you can play a solo, and if you want to copy a saxophone player's, you know, idea of melody and everything, then it's going to sound great. I mean, you're going to sound like a great soloist. Is it unique? Is it memorable? You know, maybe, maybe not. I think the most important thing really is to just find unusual things, which is why I like to just hear unusual notes, dissonances, and things. And you know, in all honesty, I'm in situations where I'm required to be a soloist maybe 5% of the time. So it's not something I've really pursued and developed. I really love being in supportive roles. Some bass players who I admire, you know, and have a great respect for, like Jeff Berlin and the like, really are just great soloists, and that's what they really want. They really want to play solo type things all the time. And some of them are maybe a little bored with just being supportive. That doesn't thrill them. And I understand it. For me, I love being supportive. I can play 20 minutes straight just playing a great groove if it really feels terrific and there's different little things happening on top. If it's not going anywhere, it's good for 2 minutes. If it's going somewhere and constantly moving and there's interesting harmony or other things or rhythmic things that are changing on top, then it's, you know, that to me is the best fun I could possibly have. And I think that's where I fit into the bass playing role in regards to soloing and what have you.
Yeah, and like you say, even in the supportive role where you aren't being featured as a soloist, you can come up with, just think, unique, something different in your bass line to make it not sound...
All the time. And I think that's what really makes a great bass player. If I have 2 bars to fill, then I want to come up with something that was just really inspired and executed well. And, you know, and that could be interpreted as a great solo. Sometimes Marcus Miller's got, you know, 8 bars on a Miles Davis album that they're his 8 bars. It's not a long passage, it's not anything, but he makes those 8 bars count, and it's just a great little piece of music. And it might be on one chord, or it might be through a series of changes. And I think that, you know, as long as you make it count, that's the most important thing.